Hi, it's Riley again, and I'm going to be continuing where I left off with the song I was working in Bitwig Studio. So in this video, I'm going to be moving on to a little bit more advanced topics, but still keeping it slow and just kind of explaining what I'm doing. So you're just going to see me working on a song where, I show workflow stuff. And if you enjoy the video, please do leave a comment or something, because I love making videos and I'm just trying to see how I can be helpful to people. So yeah, here we go. So we covered moving things into this clip launcher and then recording them back into here to kind of make a bit of an arrangement. I'm going to hide the clip launcher again for now. I'm going to do a little bit of mixing here. So we haven't really showed this much. I'll push tab to go back to the mixer tab. I'm going to pan one sound over there and one sound over here. Let's go back to our drum machine. By default, usually with the sampler, there's this filter in the sampler, but usually it's off. So it's selected here, bypass. I'm going to click this. So now we're playing with the filter on the kick. So I've got some delay on one of the sounds. I'm going to turn the sound. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this clap. And I'm going to go here. Make sure I'm in the Bitwig audio effects. And make sure I'm on devices. I'm going to grab EQ2. It's just a simple EQ. Going to go back, push tab again to open the arranger up again. I'll jump over to here where this clap is active. Double click to go back to the device browser. So what I want to do is just find that kind of annoying frequency and just turn it down with the EQ. Can click this button to turn a device off. Yeah, so this just makes the sound a little less harsh. And say I wanted to have that be something I could pull up more quickly in the future. Could go save preset to library. Less. I'm going to turn off caps lock. And on the category, I'll put EQ, tags, EQ, harsh, filter. That's fine. And now if I were to open my browser again, go to presets and search harsh, that's what comes up. So you should always do that with Bitwig when you're working. Just save stuff. If you like a sound, just save it, tag it in something that you'll remember it. And then if you're ever just looking for something, you just type type the word in there and you can have stuff start to come up like that. Another thing you can do with regards to that is I'll open up a new track and I go to, I'll search for sampler. Usually searching is the fastest way, but it's nice to have the browser laid out well. Sampler. So like I mentioned, a lot of the time by default, this is going to be off in the filter. So I like to have that on by default so that you can just grab this frequency knob for the filter and start to affect things. If you right click on the device and go save as default preset, that's going to make it so that if you make a change like that, so I always want it to open with the filter open. Now, whenever I open a sampler, it's going to open with the filter. So those two things, save as default preset and save preset to library. If you get in habit of just doing those when you're working, if you're like, this is how I want this to always be, or I like this sound, and saving things as default for how you want them, or saving presets that you can access later. And again, you can access the presets for any device by clicking this folder. That'll bring up a browser that's tailored for presets. It's selecting presets. So now I can go and I have all these tags, which we haven't really looked at. So got really everything. So I'll put the caps lock on and make sure that I'm record enabled for the track. So maybe I'll try recording some of this MIDI over top of this beat. Oops. Other than that, that was kind of cool though. So let's listen to that. I know that I want this whole section. Push Command J, and that just made that into a clip that I can move around. And I duplicated it with, there it is again, Command D. And something's kind of cool, if I have a clip selected like this, where I click the top and it turns black like that, I can move around with the arrow keys and it'll go and jump around the clips. And then if I press spacebar, that's where it starts. So I can use this to kind of go bloop, 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 move around my set. I'm gonna get rid of that note. I don't want that note in there. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. And I'm gonna go, because that was when I was started. I hadn't gotten into the groove yet. I'm going to go down to quantize, and I'm going to just select that 16th note. So that's going to lock it to the 16th notes. More on time now. Might as well just quantize it all. And you can also quantize by, if you, again, double click, I'm opening it in the editor. I want to make sure I have the pointer tool selected and just drag to select that all. If I go up to note, I'm going to have that same quantize option. I'm actually going to have a quantize option that will just quantize without opening up that little window. It'll just use the last settings. I'm going to undo that, or you can do the quantize and bring up a window. And again, this is probably a keyboard shortcut that's worth just remembering. Option or Alt and Q brings up your menu like that. So since this kind of ends weirdly, I'm just going to make that be the last note. So yeah. So I'm just going to grab here, make a time selection by selecting near the bottom, not the top, because I don't want to select the bottom here, and drag down. And I'm just going to put the delete key. So let's listen to that by backing up. So I'm going to show another trick here. I'm going to put my cursor here by clicking near the bottom of the click. And I'm going to do split. Now this is another keyboard shortcut that's definitely worth just remembering. Command or Control on Windows and E. And look what that does. It splits that clip right there. So now we have a separate clip. In Bitwig, if I hold the Option key on the edge of the clip and drag, I actually stretch the time out for that clip. So listen to how that sounds. And a cool trick with audio clips, if you drag like this, you're going to turn that clip down. And if you drag at the edge of a clip where this little triangle appears, you're going to create a crossfade or a fade. Too quiet now. I have to pull this back and turn it up a bit. And now, say we wanted to bring this as something we would perform in a live set. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to make a selection of the whole song. I'm just going to drag it in like that. So that's automatically created these clips that are the full length of what I just dragged in. So now I could take this and launch this scene at a show and have that be a whole song. Or I could break it up into smaller sections. This is where it's easy to use the time selection tool. I'm going to get that outro in there. Oh, I didn't select it all. Undo. Need to make sure to get that whole, all of it in there. So I'm going to click here at the scene and go over to add scene. So I just want a blank scene. So I forgot to add this intro part in, which is, we want that. Drag that into the scene. So now, and I can click on this scene and go over here and rename it. So I'm going to call it intro and click this scene in A. Click this scene, Command R. That's the same thing. Rename B. And I need to push enter for it to remember that, because I forgot. A. Enter. Now I'm going to push my shortcut that I made for switching to the next scene. So now we're playing back from the clip launcher again, and I'm playing the different sections of the song. So I'm just going back and forth with these keyboard shortcuts. And then this is the outro, so I'm gonna Command R, which is the same thing as going over here, and I'm going to call it outro. And if at any point I want to record this, or I want to just go back, I just click this button here. That's the button. Now this isn't grayed out anymore. And we're not playing from the clip launcher. I'm playing from here. I want to go back to the clip launcher, just launch a scene. And since we have this keyboard shortcut so we can kind of move through the different parts of the song, I can go in and maybe start adding some effects to mess around. So I'm going to go and I'm going to search for the filter. Make sure I'm on devices. And I just changed the scene. And you can also do this if you click on the scene like that. See how it's selected? You can move around with the keyboard shortcuts and press enter to launch a scene. Or like you can move around with these. And I can even improvise by stopping some of the clips like that. So that clip's just not playing. Or I could start scenes from somewhere else. So now we have these guys playing with this. And if at any point I have a selection of clips like that playing that I want to keep and make a scene, I can go add scene from playing clips. And that's just going to make a new scene that has the currently playing clips in it. Okay, so that's all for this video. Next week, I'll be back continuing on these concepts and going into some more of the advanced or maybe unique things that you can do with Bitwig in the editing and some of the options you have with notes. So hope to see you then.